7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game.
Hello, hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Hopefully. It says it's picking up my mic, so I'm going to assume it's working. This is podcast number 3. We are good to go with our guest Steeler and co-host Humida. Steeler is the longest-haired staff member, creator of the unofficial and official live queue, and author of a third of Advanced Wars by Web's pull requests, which we were just talking about what those were right before the stream started. So, Steeler, very quickly, could you explain what that is?
Sure. So when you make changes, you kind of modify files, and then we use Git. So you take all those files that you change, you make a commit of it, and then you kind of keep iterating on that process until you're happy with what you got, and then you make a pull request, and then that's what Walker uses to update the site with your changes. And so, you know, I've made a third of those pull requests of those changes to the site. As we'll probably get into later on, this process of the pull request has only been going on for like 3 or 4 years, I think. Before that, they just changed everything live, I think.
Oh, there's just pure chaos.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he changed it live when people weren't playing that often.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're a very active member of the dev team then.
Yeah, relatively speaking. I mean, I don't typically think of it that way because I feel like I only do like one kind of meaty thing a month at best. But there's definitely a lot of people that I would say don't make many changes. But I mean, it's always on like a volunteer basis, so
That's true. No one gets paid.
Yeah,
True.
All right, and the co-host is Humida, our lovely co-host
hello, everyone.
from South America, right?
Yeah, Argentina.
So
The very
Argentina,
south.
that's right. So it's cold where you are.
It's
over-
freaking cold right now. Yes, it is
It's
very,
super
very
hot over
cold.
here. And Steeler, where
It
you?
is. It's the coldest it's been in 13 years. I
Oh my-
read.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And Steeler, were you Australia?
still
Was that right?
I'm on the East Coast.
Oh, you're on the East Coast. I was completely wrong there.
He doesn't sound Australian to me.
I know. I was confused.
I think you're getting confused with Bum.
Oh, that would be why. Oh, so it's late for you, Steeler. It's like 9 p.m.
Yeah, I mean that's not terribly late. When it's over at 11, that'll be later.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
It's later for me. It's 10 p.m. here.
So I've covered a few of these submitted games from you, Steeler, and you've called them secret tech, otherwise known as just downright cheating.
Yeah, well, so there's a little backstory on that, in that I invited Hawkman to go play this game, and I told him that the secret tech was cheating, and in the comments back and forth between us, it didn't seem like he really understood it, but he definitely understood it at the end of the map when he then DM'd me on.
I'm sure he did. So you just challenged him, saying you were going to cheat, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Pretty much, yeah. He just accepted the game. He was like, this is a bit unusual for the challenges. Usually, I'm the one that creates the settings and sends them, but you selected a High Funds Fog map on a standard map, and I'll play this with you. It's like, okay, I don't think you read what I wrote, but whatever. We'll play a game, and you'll learn.
I can definitely understand his thinking, because you play this game and you kind of assume it's impossible to cheat. Like, there's so few, I guess, actions that you're capable of doing, but somehow you managed to kind of crack it. If for people that don't know what we're talking about, in this game, I think pretty quickly you can see Steeler here's. I'll make Steeler into the Penguins. Make these guys the classic colors.
I picked this map especially because of the shoals and the missiles.
Oh.
I also calced it out that the HQ cab was pretty unstoppable unless he actually just focused 2 infantry at the HQ and nobody captured the base. So if this map went on for much longer, I can go from the one base with the tower and the port in the top left, and I can attack his one base up north.
Yeah, because we'll see it really quickly, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How the movement
Yeah, I need to see this.
Like right there. So you'll note that this infantry just walked from the comm tower all the way onto this city, which is normally 1, 2, 3, 4 movement. But what Steeler's doing to cheat with his secret tech is he's unlocked diagonal movement. So the infantry actually went 1, 2 onto the mountain and 1 onto the city. So the way that Steeler would be able to attack from this base to this base is we go 1, 2, and then 3 diagonally from shoal to shoal.
Yeah, he crosses the water through the diagonal shoal. That's crazy. Right? It can cross over.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the problem was that I can only move diagonally. So if I were to go from that comm tower to the city to the left of the top 1 base for YC, that's too many movement. I can't do that in a single turn. That's
1, 2,
4,
3.
I guess.
Because you're still using 3 movement.
Yeah. I was sad about that. I wish the city was higher so that I could make a capture chain out of that, but
you can see it here. 1, 2, 3. Of course, diagonal is typically it's basically doubling your movement whenever you go diagonally, because usually it takes 2 to go diagonally.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. I mean, that makes it a very scary HQ cap. It's an HQ cap in 3 turns. Or is it 2 turns? 1.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh, just 3. You can't quite make it in 2. The HQ was or can't. 1, 2, 3. No.
If it was in the forest, it would be 2 turns.
Yeah, so that's actually a good point. Is that's what I guess we'll see soon. But the mountain doesn't give you vision of a unit moving into that forest. And from Chitakan's side of point of view, he can see 3 tiles away from the HQ, so he knows it's safe.
Yeah.
But it's not.
There's basically nothing he could do about it anyway.
Mm.
I mean, I guess he could have brought that infantry over. Yeah, could have the 2 infantry ready. But yeah, you're right. Step on, you go into this forest. Now you're 1, 2, 3. You can start capturing the HQ. It looks safe.
Oh.
Capturing the base early too. And you can do this with any unit, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to just be infantry.
It's so funny how they move, how they glide through the diagonal tiles.
And you're a dev.
So
Go ahead.
The backstory on this is that I found this after I was fixing the teleport tiles, make them work better. Because I was going through the teleport tile code, kind of affects your move, and it kind of looks like, did you move into a teleport tile, and then is the next tile that is part of your path, is it also a teleport tile, and is there a chain between them? And right above that is some code that checks if your movement in the X direction is greater than 1, or if your movement in the Y direction is greater than 1, which unfortunately does not check, did you move 1 in both directions?
So, what's happening? So, how are you? So, this has to do with how the game checks for teleport tiles. Is that what you're saying?
No. I was fixing teleport tiles when I noticed that this bug existed.
Oh.
Because as part of the same code that handles like movement on teleport tiles, just handles movement in general, you know?
Oh, I gotcha.
And so it would only check if you moved greater than 2 in an X or Y direction, or greater than or equal to 2. It didn't check if you moved 1 in both of them, which would be like 2 overall.
Interesting. So that's why it doesn't stop you. It's saying it's fine because you're moving 1 up and 1 left, essentially. But if you moved 2 up and 1 left, it would be no.
Right, yeah.
I don't understand.
But I don't understand how you managed to put in the input to move diagonally. At first I thought...
I made my own client. Did I send you a picture of that?
Oh, you have like your own special interface for the website?
Yeah, I mean, originally what I was doing was I was handwriting the requests so that they would work. But you have to go know what all the tile IDs are for your movement, and that was just a pain in the butt to do. So I wrote my own.
Oh, interesting. So you are you're not using like the mouse to go diagonally. You're typing in like the code to order your units to move?
For the first couple moves I was, and then I made my own interface. I can go send you a picture.
Oh, interesting. So when your own interface, it'll just type in the code for you when you're like mousing over the diagonal movement.
Yeah, so basically I would just click on one of my units, and then I would click on the tiles it would take, and then there would be like a move board would pop up. This picture actually is a bit of a sneak preview, I guess, of Secret Tech 2. That is not really sneakily because you've already covered it, but that was,
it looks
my
very
interface.
buggy.
Wow, that's what you see?
When I was doing my movements, yeah, I don't use it to play like a normal game. But when I was cheating, this is the interface I would look at.
That's awful.
What's going on? Well, I mean, it's way better than the alternative.
Okay.
What's going on?
Like,
in
at
this
least you have a
picture
visual.
Is that sort of in that bottom left quadrant? Well, I guess the top right of the bottom left quadrant. There's this black box with a city, an infantry, and an APC.
Yeah.
And so that's because on that tile that I have clicked for the picture, there are an infantry within an APC, and so if I want to move the infantry as opposed to the APC, I need to click the infantry first, and then I can click on tiles I want to take to move.
Oh my gosh.
And so, within this interface, it doesn't actually like draw arrows. You have to click the tiles, and that's how you easily do the diagonal movements. So I just
interesting.
Click on them diagonally.
I didn't know the game would do that. So when an infantry enters an APC, the game literally keeps the infantry in that APC.
No, the infantry's on that tile.
Yeah. It doesn't like
And when the
store
APC
it elsewhere and like remember to drop it off here. It actually stores it like it's actually in the APC. And so you're like, instead of selecting just the APC, you're selecting the infantry. You're like clicking past it.
Well, in my interface, I would click past the APC and select the infantry, yes. In the normal AWBW interface, you would be telling the APC to move somewhere, and then it would move the APC and would also move the infantry that was in the APC.
That's wild.
And so that ends up being an issue in the second game, because if I move the infantry and then I move the APC, it changes the infantry's location.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard to keep a capture going because the APC is no longer on top of that tile.
That is so weird. But something that I found even weirder is in this game, and let's see if I can bring it up. I'll do my best to bring it up. Secret Tech. We have Secret Tech 3 there. Secret Tech 2.
Very confusing though too. I still
yeah.
don't get it.
Well, the great part with the Secret Tech 1 is that everybody makes, linear walls. If you just go around in the diagonal,
Oh yeah.
so easy to win. It's also better for capturing than, say, being Sturm.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's broken.
Yeah,
But
really
going backwards or towards the end of this game, you can see that Stealth Fighter here is capturing your base.
Yes. And so if you were using my interface right now, you would see a Cobalt Ice infantry on that base, as well as a Yellow Comet infantry.
But that's the thing, is that so Cobalt Ice is capturing this base, and then you're saying that you are also capturing your own base at the same time, right?
Well, I mean, on 2 different turns, I'll issue the capture action. So right now, that APC that's to the left of that base,
yeah,
the infantry is not on that tile. The infantry has walked along that shoal path onto the base before he put his infantry on the base.
Okay.
What?
Because
Remember how that...
It's a ghost. It's a ghost infantry.
Because he captures
Yeah.
your base, and then you immediately capture it back.
Wait,
My
really?
infantry's on that tile.
Yeah.
And so I just issue the capture action. Because if you look, it's at 0 capture points or whatever. I guess it doesn't get
Yeah.
fixed until the end of the turn or something, or the start of the turn.
Yeah.
And so since it doesn't have any capture points, if I capture it to a negative value, it immediately flips.
Oh, interesting. And that's why it goes negative. It's because the capture points haven't refreshed.
Yeah. And so if you go back a few turns, I can build the mega tank on that left base immediately because my infantry is invisible. So it doesn't actually block the unit from spawning, which is really great because, otherwise he could just clear the base and try to recapture it. But instead there's a mega tank.
Yeah. I figured in this
But
game
this
you
one
were
is-
actually playing against yourself. Is that right?
No, Stealth Fighter Association is actually Jaquakin.
Oh.
Jitagoin loves stealth fighters.
This is also an
Wow.
account that he uses for a lot of his videos.
Whoa.
So this is, again, infantry in that APC, the 9 HP one, that's the one that's walking right now, and that's also why you get an error, because it's trying to move the unit, but it's not actually rendered. So when it tries to find it on the site to move that actual GIF or whatever, it doesn't exist.
And then you move. So now they're in the same. No, they're not in the same spot.
Now they're in the same spot because I moved the APC.
Oh, okay. I thought it would drag the infantry at the same rate that the APC moved.
No, because I moved the infantry separately. I issued a command for the infantry to move.
And then the APC moves and the infantry goes back into it.
Yeah, it resets its position. Yeah.
Gotcha.
How long does it take you to do one of these moves?
Well, with the new interface, it takes, a second or less, or it's like just take the mouse and click 5 tiles in Excel spreadsheet, right? Like it doesn't take a long time to do that.
Oh, okay.
So this city gets captured from the infantry in this black boat. We go 1,
Yes.
2, 3,
Yep.
4, 5.
Yeah, that's exactly why I
it
have.
looks
the
like I
black boat.
forgot. I captured. I'll probably remember at the start. Okay.
And so that's another big thing is that since the black boat's infantries are all invisible, I can slowly walk him up, and he's not going to threaten a black boat on a port, so I don't have to move it and reset the location.
So there's you basically have just invisible infantry walking around on the map. Is it possible to attack the invisible infantry, or are they just completely uninteractable?
So there is actually a check in the code that if the unit attacking is being carried or the unit being attacked is being carried to reject the attack.
Oh,
so I was really
I see.
upset about that. I really
So
want
they're
to have
protected
mechs
inside
and
their-
APCs driving around.
Okay. They're still in the black boat, so it's like, you can't touch this. Gotcha.
If
So
the
did
black
you,
boat dies, though, then the infantries also die, even if they're like somewhere else in the map, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you end up fixing this? Because the replays
Yeah,
still
all of-
work.
Yeah. So the replays, I can actually make an invalid replay if you want at some point where units just spawn in and out and a flak attacks something else and it heals as opposed to dying. The replay stores the action taken and the results of that action. So the replays will kind of always be like working in the future since they store the result.
Gotcha.
Which also means that if you like manually modify replay, you can make the result whatever you want.
Yeah. I have heard that there's been in the past dev games where people kind of did all this kind of thing against each other, or they'd spawn units
Wow.
randomly and fight each other at random intervals and stuff. From Legends from Walker, but I don't know if you've ever engaged in a dev game with the other devs.
No, I think the only staff member I've played is JJ, and that was part of a tournament. I think besides that, I don't think I've gone up against anybody, either like officially or unofficially.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I guess over like some of the live queue testing, I think I played Contin, but I think we may have actually broken that game and both been GE or something. I don't know. There were a lot of country bugs. At the point.
Interesting. So there's a lot more cheating potential in the game than it initially looks. It's just that it takes, I guess, a lot of coding know-how to do it.
Yeah, so I want Secret Tech 4 to be the double churn glitch, but I was having trouble consistently getting it, and so that's why this series only goes up to 3.
Oh, the double turn glitch. Now that is that one you've been working on to fix, right?
Well, I mean, you could probably phrase it that way. I don't like actively look at it, besides I changed the live leak so that it would auto draw. And then I kind of called that like good for now. But the problem is that, yeah, and the big way to kind of fix it is to add more locking, and then I have to go do that on fire. I have to do that on capturing. I have to do that on building. I have to do that on like end churn and tag churn, moving and repair and supply and
Gotcha.
and I don't even have all the actions. I think fire seems different than actually just firing. There's like a gazillion files I need to modify, and like every single time you modify something, you can make things worse.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've heard it can be very spaghetti.
So like recently with the spectating of fog games, Cynic complained that he couldn't view the stats when he was supposed to, and it ended up being I flipped the condition, and so you could actually view the stats of anybody in a fog game that you didn't have vision of, as opposed to only the ones you had vision of. That one I fixed, I think, before anybody figured that out. But that was also only on the test site, and nobody plays on that, so it was pretty safe, relatively speaking.
Is this still like? Can you still do this the secret tech of the moving diagonally and all this invisible infantry?
No.
Or is that-
All this got fixed in it's in the timeline.
Oh,
Got
okay.
fixed on March 1st.
Oh, okay. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
You find the bugs. You're fixing the bugs. You're not letting it.
Did you find anyone using it by any chance?
So I tried to do a scan for units that move too far. The big issue was that happens in every single teleport tile games.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up finding anybody else doing this. And I did actually use this against somebody in one game. I think I sent that one. It's in the slides too, at the back, where I was pretty sure the guy was gonna try to get my second base because of the way the map was laid out. And so he ended up getting kind of annoyed and asked me how I got the thing. I just responded that it's cheating. He responds with, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
But that's funny.
We can quickly look at
The PowerPoint.
the PowerPoint.
That was so funny.
Doesn't quite fit well.
Was it Green Earth that was trying to steal your base?
No, it's Gray Sky because they came around through the teleport tiles.
If we can make this work on the stream.
Like with a T-copter, maybe?
No, they built a lander. It was like high funds. I think it was like
okay.
It was like 5K per city.
Oh, okay.
Steven Steeler. All right, the timeline. So site created in 2004. How long have you been with the website?
Well, that's what it's up there. It's my first Slash game was in 2022, and then I was added to the dev team in the middle of 2023. But I guess there's still a bit of an asterisk on that. So like the live queue bot, right? That is was that March 23rd of 2023. That was like 3 months before I was part of the dev team.
Live queue bot. Oh, yeah. And if people want to join the dev team, from my understanding, the easiest way is to make like add-ons and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how Saltwork got on, right? Because he had the extension. Demon Hunter has the replay viewer. I think I got on because I made in the live queue without like any prompting, and that actually was something that walkers wanted for a long time. I was researching things in Discord once, and the origin of the live play tag was literally just to accumulate maps for the live queue that was going to be released shortly, and that was like a comment from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Wow. So it's been in the pipeline for 2 or 3 years, and no one was able to.
As it does.
Wow.
Tournament bots.
Yeah, so
live.
I was doing other stuff. So like, if you might have heard of Silvera's live tournament, I think it was the SS4, and then a million other things. That one, the later half of the tournament, all the games were auto-created and you were invited to them. Actually, you weren't invited to them, you were placed in them, like a normal tournament game. So that was all done through Tournament Bot, which I had. And then later on, Live League, Talos would just send it a command of who's playing what game, and it would make the games for them.
That is very cool. That's a lot better than the devs having to manually do it themselves.
Well, I mean, initially everybody just had to make their own games, right? You'd send a game request to your opponent, and same thing with Live League.
Yeah, but back in the day, we had the Live League on the Discord, and it was like Talos. Well, we had a spreadsheet, and you put how many games you wanted to play, and then like some bot like paired you randomly with the other players, and then you had to coordinate with them specific day, specific time, and play that game live. But that was like what we have now is miles and miles ahead. It's so much better. Just clicking a button is like insane.
And Steeler, you were the one that made the live queue bot for the Discord back in the day, right?
Well, the live queue bot wasn't on Discord. It was so if you click on the link, it'll take you to a map, And it was quite literally, I would just have a bot that create that map in the custom games section of the site. And when you joined that game, it would wait till a second person joined, and then would just send you both a second invite to another game that had a 5+2 setting with a random map, random tier. They're all standard, I think. I think it wasn't like pick Fog or High Puns or whatever.
Oh wow, that's fancy.
So you would have to put a comment there for it to pair you into a match?
No, you would join, it would create a game, and you would just join that game. The game would never start. And would just wait for there to be 2 people in the game, and then would send you both a message, and then kick you both out. And then, I just let it run for 5 months, or whatever it was.
Yeah. I remember seeing this. I was always like, what is this? It's like obvious. I remember people sharing like screenshots of it being like, what is this? But I didn't know that it worked like that. That it was almost like today's live queue or live league, but instead you joined it. That's crazy. So it's like the same. It's like the same bot that you used there. You're using it now for the live league almost.
Yeah. I mean, so almost all of the site works off of like HTTP requests. So I just use different cookies depending on what account I want to masquerade as. I mean, the thing I really want to eventually do with like my own custom interface is make it very easy to just switch accounts. Because whenever you're testing things, you have to like, have 2 tabs open or like 3 tabs. Especially with the Fog stuff, where I'm testing like, 4 people playing each other with like different team data and observers, like being able to just have one thing open and then when you hit enter and it just auto switches you to the second account, like that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, because now you have to use like different browsers or the incognito or whatever to have multiple accounts so you can test stuff.
Yeah, but it also just takes up so much space because even if you put them like each in like the 4 quadrants of like a window, like
Being in multiple accounts, do you know if there's anything in the works to raise the number of maps each account can hold?
Ooh.
So people.
Good question.
Because
I have not heard anything about that. I thought that there was a special rule for MC members, where the limit was higher, but I don't think there was any talk of removing the limit.
I have not seen that. But
you guys, the MCs get special limit. Because if people don't know, your account can have, I think, 20 maps that you make at any
30.
time. And
Isn't it 30?
that means that the prolific map makers have a lot of accounts to hold all the maps they make.
Yep.
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, that probably isn't a hard thing to do, especially if you keyed off of something like an MC member. I think it's a little bit harder that a lot of the prolific map members aren't MC anymore, right? I don't think Elise is MC anymore.
No, he's not.
No.
And then Lost and Found, I don't think was ever MC, right?
Who?
Oh no.
LNF.
Lost and Found, Rise.
I think he
Man.
was a MC for a time, but he no longer is.
Yeah. He makes a lot of maps, but
Yeah.
So
if I'm not wrong, he's the one that makes the most. Like he has the most amount
30
of
maps? I thought it was 20 maps.
There was a chart or a spreadsheet that had like a record of how many maps were made per person or per MC or something like that. And I think Rise was number 1 by far.
Oh, were you integral in fixing the Jake pipe runners?
I don't know if you guys are talking about a different bug per se. The one that I'm mentioning in this one was just when you use the power, you couldn't attack at 6 range.
Yeah, that's the bug that I know about. Yeah.
And you also couldn't move them 11 squares. But within the back end of the code, if you had a separate client and you sent in a command that was 11 tiles, it would validate the request and say it was valid because they count as a land vehicle.
Oh, interesting.
So just the new UI didn't handle that. So technically, the workaround was to use the old UI to issue those commands if you needed to, but then that was disabled. So yeah.
The old interface.
The old interface
Was so
I've never used it.
It was so scammy in Fog.
Scammy. What?
Because if someone switched to the old interface, or originally you could switch back and forth at will, and if you switch to the old interface, it would not store your actions for the replay for the opponent. So you could play your turn on the old interface and switch to the new interface to watch the replay of your opponent's turn. But they would not get the information of yours.
At some point, you weren't supposed to be able to do that anymore. It was supposed to be once you've used the old user interface, it would disallow you from viewing the turn-by-turn data. Yeah,
that was the fix that came in. It was like, once you switch to it, you can't switch off of it. And now it's just been disabled altogether. I think some people were switching to it at opportune moments.
There's a big question from Soul for Rent. A question that I've seen asked a lot of times. About the back end, front end, if there's a plans of future of making open source, which honestly I don't really understand what it means, but of like making the code available for everyone or something like that.
Yeah, so right now on the site, if you kind of look through like the JavaScript that runs, it's actually post-processing, and so it's not actually like the source code of the site. And so that's kind of what they're kind of asking about, because right now you're only allowed to interact with kind of like the post-process version. You can't actually interact with the source code, as well as for the backend portion of the site. Like, you know, remember I was talking about how like if with the teleport tiles, and if I move on the diagonal, it's only checked if I move greater than 1 in the X direction or Y direction. Right, you can't see that code, and so you want to be able to see that bug. Whereas I can see the code, and so I can see that bug.
Right.
There is a plan to make it a bit more open source where everybody can see the code. There's no timeline on that at all. But that is part of the work that was done, you know, like 3 years ago when they actually added the site to, like when the Git history added. That was the start of the work, where they made like a GitHub account. Actually, that part might not really be known. There's a GitHub for this, not public, so don't bother to look.
2021.
And that's what's the plan there was they were going to redo how the site kind of worked. That's where like the Matt Susan stuff got created. So you had like the test version of the site. And they also have a lot of like backend things to let you run it locally through Docker. That was all done with the plan of making open source. I mean, I don't know. You guys see how fast everything moves. I went ultra prep.
It got a lot faster.
True. I bet that it requires like monumental amount of work to make it open source, just to also make sure that it's safe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, right with the secret tech, the second I got the source code, you know, well, not really the second, but relatively soon, I found a bunch of bugs. But that said, I mean, there's been a long-standing amount of bugs. Like, it used to be you could go see the funds of your opponent in Fog, you could see their income, you could see the buildings they captured.
Wow.
Like, there's a ton of bugs that have been getting caught over the past year. So, you know, I'm sure there's still stuff out there.
Oh, I'm sure. That's very impressive, the secret tech that you've shown.
Is there other secret techs?
There's just very the double turn glitch was too annoying to automate.
Honestly, that's good.
Well, so
it's weird that it's so easy to accidentally do that glitch.
Yeah, I think that's related to the site lagging, and that's why it becomes easy to accidentally do it. Is that I think like the lag is related to load, and so when there's a lot of people, they can run into it. I don't think you would have seen it at all without Live Queue or Live League, though.
I think that's true. Well, maybe I would have, because sometimes even on the even on Global League timers, I'm like down to the second. But the
procrastinator.
For people that don't know, I think it functions on if you end your turn at the exact time that it would automatically end your turn, right?
Yeah. It would
It
then
like ends your
there's like a
opponent's
function-
turn right back immediately. It just
Yeah, 'cause
skips their
there's
turn.
a function that does the next turn, and so if you call that thing twice, it will, advance the turn to your opponent and then advance the turn back to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of the site works that way, which is sort of what I'm talking about, like with the locking. It will typically do like a query into the database to learn everything it needs to know. If like you're doing a movement, it needs to know like, are you the owner of this unit? Does this unit exist? Can the unit move this far? And once it knows all that, it then figures out, where the unit should end up, and then it will store that at the end. And so what I wanted to do with Secret Tech 4 was to kind of go even further than the double turn thing, where I issue a bunch of, say, move captures. And so at the beginning of the move capture function, the unit hasn't moved, hasn't captured anything, so it's okay to do this. And then you got the 4 of them in parallel that all do a capture action. And at the end of them, they all, try to set the infantry at the end location. But you get 4 captures off in the meantime. And the infantry does not get
So you would
duplicated,
send like 2 infantry to the same city and capture it in one turn?
Well, I think of using 1 infantry to capture 4 cities the other direction.
Oh.
You gotta do with Sammy, right? You can just capture things immediately.
Even more busted.
Even more busted.
Well, so it gets even better. So if you could do attack actions, right? You could have 1 unit, especially infantry, just attack things. And since the last one to be saved is what will be the end state, if you could basically have it attack 3 things like mega tanks that it would almost certainly die. But if you can get the 4th one to just be slightly slower and it's like infantry on infantry, it will do a tiny bit of chip to those mega tanks, and then it will end up being stored at the last attack location.
Oh, wow.
Where it will survive,
T-Copters and APCs become the worst unit.
So you could like attack multiple things.
But only the last one would respond.
Were you able to do this actually?
No, it was no, I had made a bunch of code that would, bin lock until a certain specific time, and then they'd all issue the requests at the exact same time. And it wasn't working. Theoretically it will work because that's how the double turn glitch works. But I wasn't able to take advantage of it.
It sounds to me like Steeler is like, in the movies or whatever, like he's like the hacker that's that's trying to hack the stuff to then fix it to like be like 1 step ahead of the hackers. That's really funny. Like you're trying to come up with all these crazy things, although no one has tried to do it before.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's just because there aren't actually that many people that play AWBW. If this was a big, Blizzard game or whatever, right? Like all of these things would have been caught on like the second day.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
It's a relatively
They're
small
also-
community. What's the next little slide you have here? Calendar queue for live games.
Okay, this is the thing that endlessly disappoints me. I think that a calendar setup where you'd be like, what, I want to play live games. Here are the times I'm available. Just find somebody else with that same availability. And, make a game for us. And as you can kind of see with the results of the survey, it is just not popular.
Yeah, no is the biggest one.
I'm of the no or no opinion really. I just like to like go and queue, like if I'm feeling and I have the time, just queue.
It's better
go
for like
to the-
tournament games, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this we definitely, I think, want to use for the live tournaments, where you have like a week, you got to put down some availability, and then you play your game for that week. But I mean, I think like the live league, you go, see D just complain like, I've been in queue for 2 hours. Like this is like, I feel like the easy solution to that. But
you like have to schedule yourself. I can see people not wanting to have the fear of like not being able to actually commit to the time that you've slot yourself in for. Or like casual gaming.
yeah, I mean, There was a second step in here that I didn't put as part of the slide where like it would show you, right, it shows you this anonymous game. Like you could just not ready for it, and then it would just go away.
Okay.
And it wouldn't like ding you over it.
That wouldn't be so bad. The project.
Yeah, I guess you could have both things like coexisting. You can put like to queue a game, I don't know, tomorrow at 9 p.m. or something like that. Right? That's because that's how it works. Or is it like a weekly thing that you set up your availability?
So the way I did it was it would look ahead, I think 7 days, but you couldn't do anything in the next 2. This way that if you didn't ready 24 hours before the match, it would delete the match. That's why. So, today is kind of all the way on the left side, and then they have the 2 red blocks because you can't fill out days ahead, and then you can do the green for the future things. But
okay,
it was
interesting.
So the live queue bot that was unofficial actually had this system as part of it, and I think over the course of the 5 months, there were maybe 3 games that got used through the calendar queue.
Wow.
And there were way more through the actual just like bot itself. So yeah, it was not popular.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess it'll definitely work like for people that do want it and it does fit their needs. Like for sure it will work. There's still a 23% of people that said yes. So
yeah.
it's still a good amount of people.
It sounds very good for the live tournament.
Yeah, for the live tournament, it makes a lot of sense.
Game you were playing during the teleport tile fixes. So were you cheating in this game or what?
So this game I was not cheating. This game I was... What am I? I'm
You're Yellow Comet.
I'm Teal Galaxy. Teal Galaxy. I'm the...
So
the big problem with teleport tiles was it used like a flood fill algorithm to do movement, which works fine if you have a handful of tiles, but then when you have a gazillion tiles all connected like they are in here, it just took too long and the server would actually just drop your request. It was so slow. And so ultimately,
is that what was happening with Infantry? Because I know with the teleport tiles, something that could happen is your units will get trapped on the teleport tiles. Is that was like the server gives up moving your unit?
No. That was different. So before Walker fixed that part, you could actually issue a move order onto a teleport tile and just stop where you were. After that point, Walker changes so you actually had to like finish your movement through the teleport tile, and if you couldn't, you were trapped on the entry into the teleport tile. And so there was still kind of 2 more bugs with teleport tiles. The first one being that you could basically only move in like the top half of the map, because if you try to move anywhere in the bottom, it was just like too many tiles and the server would give up processing, which made it and it was actually like which direction you went. If you go upwards, it was easier than if you go downwards.
Interesting.
And so it basically means if you're one of the bottom people on the map, it's great because you can capture all those things down there and nobody's coming to attack you. But if you're on the top half of the map, everybody can fight you. That's
and you can't do anything. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was doing pretty well. I got ganged up on in this map, but I was like, this teleport tile is annoying me. So this is the map that ended up making me fix it, so you can actually move along huge chains.
So is this map now working?
Yeah, the map works way better now.
Oh snap!
You know what? Are you still the only dev that is actually currently playing? I was just wondering that.
Because you have a rule on that because Walker plays tournaments.
Well,
sort of.
Yeah, like every now and then. Like when he's pulled into it. Yeah, to fill up the signups. Because then you have Matsu. I don't think he's played in a really long time. I think Voice of Akasha is also considered a dev. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, he has dev access.
Okay.
Rishi has dev access. Rishi, I think, plays a lot more like one-on-ones, like through Discord, as opposed to like.
Yeah.
Well, I think
there was another dev that I played, or did I play Matsu?
You played Matsu?
Wow. I might have played Matsu. I don't remember. I played a couple devs.
I've
I
only
don't know
played
that-
Stealer
I don't know what Demon Hunter.
and
Well,
Wizard.
not really.
Oh,
And then I think
But
Steve
you-
just plays Art. So
oh yeah, you're right, Steve as well.
actually, Femboy's still on the dev team. He
True.
doesn't talk much in Discord. I feel like, right?
Used to be very.
I think he shows up every now and then. Also, Demon
But
Hunter
he's still
is
around.
another
Yeah,
dev.
yeah, yeah.
But Demon Hunter doesn't play.
Luna Lek is just staff. I don't think she's actually a dev. He's not a dev. He's just staff.
Oh.
We have a lot of
Well,
that.
this looks like a great FFA game. You guys went
Yeah.
tag.
Well, it's high funds, you know.
This looks like an absolutely toxic map.
Oh, do you know anything about the lag, Steeler? I've heard a lot of people complaining. Maybe it's just complaining, but in the live league, and you had just said like a few questions ago, something about the lag. Is there something with the site that it's making it lag, or is it normal? Is it a server thing? Like
I don't know that there's been enough debugging to really give you a good answer on that. A while back, we kind of really thought it would be the database, and so I added some thing that staff members, like any staff member, can use to kind of like profile the database at the time. The problem is that it basically hasn't found a culprit. So I don't think it's a database. I think it's going to be something else. I've been meaning to change up some of the information so that mostly devs would get additional timing information when they do stuff. And then from there, hopefully I can figure out where the lag would be coming from. But I mean, so there's been attempts to, make things better.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have not panned out that much.
No, I remember there was a thing that Walker had done about changing the leaderboards or something like that, and it fixed the lag for a bit, but it seems to be back a little bit. And yeah, you're playing a live game and it's like you move something and it just won't move.
That's true. There's definitely some ways that you can generate a really slow query. But with the database profiling, a lot of times when people are complaining about lag, somebody is not like doing a really expensive querying that's like preventing you from updating your units in database. At least I'm pretty sure if they were, we would see it because I can see every query in the database. And so, if there is an expensive one happening, that's not the cause of your lag.
So you're saying that maybe there's like someone is pulling data or something like that, and so that's why it's causing lag, or that's what you would think could be.
That is a way that has caused lag in the past.
Okay.
And I think with Walker's improvements to a lot of those scripts, that is no longer a way that causes lag. And that was something I think Walker found using the same technique that I was doing. It was just only he could run it as opposed to any staff member. Which is why I think that, because of the fact that doesn't show these things as being expensive queries, it's got to be something else. And there's also some pages that I've loaded that took like 17 seconds and they don't actually involve like expensive database queries, and they also don't rely on the results of other tables. Like it should just be a simple page load. So the fact that they were slow, I think there's something else involved too.
Okay. Do you think that disabling animation stuff like that makes it faster? Does that have to do with anything about the lag?
No, it is completely the server side per se. Like when you do your actions, you very much send the command to the server, and it's just you're waiting for that response to come back.
Okay.
And so even if you have animations on or animations off, the time that you're waiting is dominated when it's lagging by the server.
Right.
So in this one, you can see the lander coming around on the right, wrap around the teleport house to the left. But I could already just take my infantry over to the base faster than them.
Yeah. Did you only cheated at the very start of this game? What it looks like.
No, I think I cheated a lot more. So this is before I had the custom client. So yes, I don't cheat as much as I could, because I have an Excel spreadsheet of all of the tile IDs, and then I look up. Okay, I'm moving from position 5, 10 to 4, 9. Right? What's the tile ID of 5, 10? What's the tile ID of 4, 9? And I have to go make an array and put them all in there, and then I have to go handcraft the response to the server. Yeah. So right. So I didn't. There, and it's just because it's just so annoying to do it.
How rude to put yourself in this harbor.
Steeler wrecking the casual scene with his secret text.
You gotta take a look at the map, right? There's a port on the inside on the Pacific Ocean, and then that harbor is like the only Atlantic port.
That's true.
So if they want to get a cruiser over there, they have to go through the Panama Canal, which is gray skies, not theirs.
Yeah.
As well as there's a bunch of reefs there that you can stick a ballast
That's
in.
awful. You have to go through here and then. Oh, yeah, you're right. Because I guess you could go this way and teleport.
Well, gray sky's not going to come unlock Red's harbor, right?
Yeah,
It's a fog map. He doesn't know.
Yeah, Red has. Well, Red can just kind of wait for you to run out of fuel. I guess.
True. Well, you can send a black boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, has to like set up artillery to kill your black boats as they come in. That's very mean. I haven't seen that many teleport tile maps, but apparently there's quite a few of them out there. For people that don't know, the way the teleport tiles work is they're basically just terrain that requires 0 movement points to go across. So it's basically like teleporting. You can, as long as you're crossing teleport tiles, it costs 0 movement points. So you can like spend 1 for here and then 0, 1.
You teleport through the teleport tiles.
You essentially teleport.
So a partial issue with teleport tiles is that when you're making a path with units, it always takes like kind of like the shortest path ish. And when you go into a teleport tile, like redoes your pathing. So if you know of units that are like gonna trap your unit, but they're in fog, so you don't know, you just know because you probably had vision the turn before and then you move stuff. Like it will a lot of times auto route you into that. I don't think you can manually kind of get out of that.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So
I've always seen you can like manually move. You can like track it with your cursor. But I don't know if you can do that on teleport tiles, I guess.
When there's like a grid, when you go into teleport tiles and out of teleport tiles and into teleport tiles again, it will redo your pathing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you can't
so like
stand on
this
teleport tiles anymore. And it used to be, if a unit got stuck on a teleport tile, you would never be able to move.
You also couldn't attack it because it didn't have like a valid
You just
brain
blocked
on
the way.
it. So which was really useful actually.
It was very useful. That's true.
And everyone's always like, don't
cheater
swing
kind
your
of way.
units on tile.
You can make it not teleport tiles anymore. Yeah.
And we might get a quack cup of teleport tiles sometime. Who knows? We just need enough good teleport tile maps. But they're just really funky.
They're very funky. And then they, as far as I know, they're never getting allowed in Global League.
Oh yeah, no, they're not. Walker was pretty, decided on that.
Red Halo immediately. We need league maps with teleport tiles.
The teleport league. I mean, honestly, I can definitely see some useful use of the teleport tiles in the sense of kind of helping certain units and helping shape map design a little bit, because we're always struggling with making infantries and mechs get a little bit faster to where you want them because tanks and anti-airs and copters just fly through everything. And so you have to like make them do the little loop around with the mountains and the forest.
Yeah.
But maybe with teleport tiles, you can kind of get away with stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you could have the idea of like the teleport tiles are locked behind mountains, so the vehicles can't use them.
Yeah, but then you just make air even stronger.
That's true. The air unit can still use them.
You
That's the big issue, that you might
pipe
wanna
off
like
the
teleport.
teleport tiles.
You pipe it off.
Pipe runner tech.
Tech. Honestly, we need more terrain tiles to like block off air units. That would be really great for mapping also.
On
Because
Flagstaff.
it's just like only having pipes is like the only thing that blocks them off, but it also blocks all the other units. you're trying to nerf out the air units, but at the same time you're also nerfing air units. That's really tricky. Yeah. If only we had like tunnels, like mountain tunnels, where infantry can cross and tanks can go beneath, but I don't know, helicopters can't go by or something like that.
Did you not play Wargroove?
Not yet, no.
Oh.
Yeah, so in Wargroove there's this thing called Flagstaff, which is actually can giants go on Flagstaff? It might be infantry only.
Yeah, that's it's basically terrain that
Okay. Can you wait on
flyers
that tile?
flyers can't move through it.
Oh, okay.
Flagstone.
But
Flagstone, I will say, very unintuitive, at least for an Advanced Wars by Web player coming in, because oftentimes it does not look like the kind of terrain. It looks like cement with a like a what'd you call it? A ball on it, like a ball and chains sitting on it, and you're like, oh, it's fine. I can just go over this weird cement, but it's supposed to be like the floor of a dungeon or something. I don't know. That was one of the worst terrains for me to get used to when playing Wargroove.
ooh, I should play Wargroove. Which one's better, Wargroove 1 or 2?
I would say that Wargroove 2 is better. I say very slowly. I think the campaign for Wargroove 2, the maps are like really short in comparison to Wargroove 1. But I think the story is worse. Personally. They did do this fun thing where they tried to have a roguelite mode in Wargroove 2 that I was very excited for, but ended up being kind of meh, at least in my opinion. I'd highly recommend playing the game though.
Yeah, I should definitely give it a try.
We even have someone in our chat here, Sneaky Dragon, who is a content creator for Wargroove.
Oh, really? Nice.
And I do have some videos or some streams on my channel of me playing it, because I joined. They had a event, the Take Your Turn event, I think, which was a Go, Chess, and Wargroove 3-game tournament.
Oh.
And they advertised it on Advanced Wars by Web, and they needed players. So I was like, you know what? I will just I'll support the sister game, the Wargroove game, and I'll go over and play that with absolutely no experience. And your Advanced Wars by Web skills will transfer over very well, as I made it all the way to the grand finals.
Wow.
Losing
What did you play?
to Zeronix.
Oh, Zeronix was also there. Wow.
So I highly recommend playing it.
Yeah, I should definitely.
I don't know how active the like queue scene is if you want to queue up a game with other people, but it has a nice single player campaign.
Yeah, I guess it would be mostly for single player, because I'm not sure. Is there even a community that plays multiplayer?
There is. They have their own Discord, but I don't know if Wargroove 2 has its own ladder. /league. Wargroove 1 didn't, which made playing the game on multiplayer using the game itself really bad. But they did have their own Discord, kind of like we had the live queue bot. They do that same thing kind of on their Discord to make their own league.
Makes me think of the reboot camp, the attempt of having a league, or I guess
it's exactly like the reboot camp. Yeah, the in-game queue is dead. If you want queue, go to the Discord. The ladder's on the Discord. Yeah,
that's still sad, right? How do you have a reboot camp and not a?
I know. I was very hopeful that the reboot
players.
camp would have its own league or ladder for matchmaking, but they just don't do that.
Next time they should talk to Steeler and be like, hey, let's put the live bot in here.
Oh, the
I don't
Discord
think
has its
Nintendo
own
really
bot
does
for
much
ranked.
multiplayer.
150 ELO is like 1,200 in Advanced Wars. Reboot Camp and Wargroove ladder bot is the same as far as you know. Oh my gosh.
Wait, there's a ladder in Reboot? I thought there wasn't. I remember Reboot you can only join a game by invite, right? So that makes it super tedious and clunky to get into matches. Oh, okay. So there's like a spreadsheet in the Reboot Discord, similar to how we did the live league back in the day.
Oh, Red Halo saying Chucklefish had open job openings in the past. Steeler, would you go and work for Chucklefish?
I would most likely not. I already have a very good remote work job that almost certainly much more than Chucklefish would. So.
Yeah, I've heard iffy things about working for Chucklefish.
Is Chucklefish the team that made Wargroove?
They are.
Okay.
And Wargroove 2. They've made a bunch of games, but they kind of like make a game and then drop support for the game.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. But also, Wargroove 2 came out pretty recently, right? And the number one came out a few years ago.
Yeah, Wargroove 1 came out quite a while ago. But yeah, Wargroove 2 dropped pretty recently. It's pretty fun.
I mean, I wonder what's Nintendo's view or thoughts on another possible Advance Wars game, right? I bet it's on many people's mind, but after Reboot, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Does anyone know how well Reboot Camp sold?
I think that's the problem. I think somebody was saying that it wasn't announced as part of I don't know if it's the SEC filings or like the end of the year thing, but like they usually brag about the amount of copies the game sells when it does really well, and they didn't give out information for Advanced Wars, which means it was like below some threshold.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm sure we all did our part though.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I think its big problem was that they canceled all of the pre-orders, right? And then they delayed it 2 more years.
They did. That's true.
That was really bad. And the game that they delivered after all that was definitely lacking something. I mean, a lot of things. Like maybe we were very we had high expectations and it just didn't deliver. No queue, no multiplayer, no ladder. So competitive scene absolutely zero. And then it was like I felt like it was just like really it was a remake of the 1 and the 2. Like that was it. Like there was nothing new besides like we can add cannons on design maps. That was it.
They did some cool stuff with like labs giving income but having 0 defense stars.
That is true.
Fingers crossed that eventually gets added.
Yeah, I actually think that could be good for Advance Wars by Web. Having properties give you income, 0 stars, no repairs. That'd be pretty cool. No more city.
What was that, Steeler?
Would you rather have that over a forest that doesn't hide you?
I mean, I want both.
Oh, I think the forest first. If I have to choose, I'd say the forest first, just because to have some more stuff for fog. By the way, now that we have a dev here in the podcast, what do you think about that, Steeler?
I think nobody has talked about it since the last podcast.
Yeah. It's on the download, but I hear there's a petition to get Clone Andy added into the game. Is that right?
I saw. I think Red Halo started that.
That's just like
what was
a
it?
poll on the AW channel.
No, it was a change.org.
Yeah, it's like a change.org petition.
We need to make one for the forest. Go. We need to do that.
Well, I need to put together a convincing argument for Walker. Is what I have to do.
Save fog.
would expect the Clone Andy to be more likely to happen than in Burnt Forest.
Probably.
It's actually in the game.
Really? You see Clone Andy as more possible than a burnt forest?
It's way more car accurate.
You say that, but we just covered a whole bunch of stuff on teleport tiles, and the teleport tiles were specifically like fixed to
I'll
work.
have you know, diagonal movement is cart accurate. All right.
Is it?
What?
Yeah, it's the gas glitch. It's how you can move. You know, if you move on the diagonal, it saves gas.
I thought the gas
What?
glitch was. Oh, never mind. I was thinking about how you could like, what would they do in fog? They'd like say go here, but they could like take back the movement
Oh yeah.
to check
And
for
it would
traps
spend
and
the gas.
stuff.
That's even the anti-gas glitch. You lose so
Yeah.
much fuel doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you move
So-
diagonally on the cart?
I think it's frame perfect. You just use both inputs. There's a Reddit post on it somewhere. I could probably link to you pretty easily. I think I took a note on it.
Please don't add the gas glitch to Advanced Wars by Web.
So Steeler, if you're saying that Andy clone has more chances of burnt forest because it's more card accurate, does that mean we're getting the reboot lab because
Right.
it's more card accurate?
That is more car accurate.
Is there a visual distinction between the two labs?
They just don't have our lab.
Oh, they have to have our lab.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
labs were in Advanced Wars 2.
Yeah, their labs, as far as I know, always give you income. And
You've
have
been
no
like a
defense
fan of
stars.
this?
I mean, visually it's
Yeah.
slightly different. I mean,
I don't think there's a visual difference. I think they look same as our labs. I could be wrong.
That, I think, would be the biggest issue.
Well, we just have to lose our labs. I mean,
Who uses
the
name?
cart has spoken. That would be bad, though. We have quite a few maps that rely on our labs not giving income.
I mean, it would have to be a new tile, definitely. You can't get rid of the existing ones, and then you're going to need to make it 20 times for each of, the eventual factions.
Is that
True.
difficult to do? Is that not just like basically
Not-
copy paste?
Well, I mean, it takes time. I mean, you see, Noir Eclipse isn't added yet, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Is that something
wonder
that-
where that is.
Are there specific, like dev duties for specific devs? Is there like one person in particular that's in charge of getting the new countries implemented?
No, it's very much you do whatever you want.
Oh, interesting. So there's just like a bounty board up, basically.
Well, even less official than that. Like, so there is that bug spreadsheet, and you can just do things on there. But like, spectating fog wasn't like on that spreadsheet. Yeah, it's just Devious was complaining.
How is that
about it
not on the
forever, and I was like,
spreadsheet? It's been complained about so much.
I don't think. I don't know. I guess I can check the spreadsheet. I don't think there is a bug in there that the turn-by-turn data doesn't exist for observers.
Well, it like puts up an error every. Or we might be talking about different things. There's like an error that constantly pops up when you're spectating fog games. And then you have to
actually have
refresh the
vision,
page.
or when you're just. That may have been coincidentally fixed. That is another issue with the spreadsheet, is that sometimes I'll make changes and I definitely do not update it as much as I should. I think it still tells you that you can't use pipe runners on the new UI when you do the J. Well, you can use them, they just don't get the extra range. But so something bigger like Clone Andy, you should like run by Walker before you do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Also like Kindle Scott, things like that.
How's the fog thing, the replay turn by turn spectating thing coming along?
I mean, it should work fine. I have an explicit check in there, so that doesn't work on league or tournament games.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard of any bugs, so that's probably safe to just take out now.
Did you know about that? Go.
I did not know about that.
You remember before you would, if you were granted vision, like you could spectate a game of fog if you were granted vision by both, but it was super buggy and like it would only do it like the whole turn. You couldn't do turn by turn.
Yeah, well, I think it was. I could be wrong, but I think it like spectating was done in the old interface, something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it was really, you didn't get the turn-by-turn data. So if you were doing the replay stuff, you can only advance it, a turn ahead or back, and you just see the board state.
Yeah.
You get the turn-by-turn data now.
That's nice. Does it still have the constant errors popping up?
And live, go. And live. You know what that means?
And live?
You can spectate fog games live.
But they have to be non-league and non-tournament.
Yeah. But you could, in theory, you could host a live tournament in fog.
Yeah, just an official one, kind of like the the fog goblin goblet that you just hosted.
Exactly.
Is that in that you get to see all the errors that pop up just constantly as he's watching. I guess he was only watching. Well, no, he didn't just watch me, but in my game against like Tordred, it was just constantly having to refresh the game.
Oh yeah, spectating fog is oof.
So if that's fixed, that's amazing.
It seems like it works better. That could be cool.
Yeah.
Some live tourneys.
There will still be one technical bug, and it largely comes around to in fog matches, every sort of action has like this vision map associated with it for each player, what they can see.
Yeah.
And so I grab what the biggest object of that is, of the people that you have vision of. But it could be the case where perhaps you can see a lot, but you also see question marks for Sonya. But you also have shared vision of Sonya. You will still end up seeing the question marks because the largest amount of vision came from the person that question marks. I have never seen that come up in testing. I think that largely comes around to the fact that I think it's going to be a very hard scenario to trigger. But what I'm going with this is you will probably never see question marks if Sonya shares vision with you. But there may be a very, tiny chance that you do.
Interesting.
And that is
or ban Sonya.
Because you could do that. It's not going to crash the game, and I think it'll work fine. You can also just kind of change the vision of who you're spectating to Sonya, and then it should fix everything immediately. As all the nifty change that I added was that you can spectate the current player, and so if you have vision of whose turn it is, it will change the fog array to be that. And then as they hit end turn, it will change the fog array. And
yeah, that's super cool.
You don't have to do that by hand.
That's so fancy.
It's like the replay viewer, but on site. That's crazy.
You can also see, the income that they have and their funds and their value, little
And
things
the
like that.
stats, right? Also like the KD.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, it's a whole new world for
That's very cool.
Fog. Yeah, that's really nice. Any other thing that you have in mind or in plans for that?
For Fog, I don't think so. I think it works pretty well. I mean, just to change it so that you can do it for league and tournament maps as well now. We wanted to hold off on that just in case there was an issue. Don't need people cheating more than I do.
You're
Makes
the
sense.
resident sheriff.
Um,
A what?
For catching all the cheating.
Oh yeah. Any other plans that you have of dev things? Any other dev things you have?
I mean, there's a lot of future work. Like Live League still needs technically more work because we don't have profiles. You're on the leaderboard forever.
Yeah.
One thing I've always wanted to do is use analysis from how often games happen to tell you how long it will probably take for you to get a match.
Oh, interesting.
We want to do live tournaments.
Oh yeah.
I've thought about it because everybody always complains about how the sound and notifications don't remain picked anymore.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, it's because browsers often won't play a sound if you haven't interacted with the page. And so we would see situations where people would check the box, refresh the page, get a match, and they don't get sound because they didn't touch the page after they refresh, which is not a good experience. So now you have to always check it because that causes a page interaction. But I could probably bury that somewhere in the FAQ, or you check this and it's don't uncheck it. And the only people that would ever find it are people that saw this explanation, because nobody checks the FAQ unless they're told.
Yeah. True. Unless you're new.
And there are other things live queue. I think you should be allowed to play tier 0. That came up in the survey a bunch
Yeah.
too. And since it's unrated, who cares if you're playing tier 0? I think on the map making side, do some other things that are card accurate. Letting you spawn units that are 3 HP, because then you can have a fog map where you start with a 2 HP recon, so you can see what they're doing. But if you ever interrupt them, you're gonna die.
Yes.
There's been a lot of people that want stuff like that.
Thank you,
So
Steeler. Yes.
spawning in with injured units.
A few months ago, I was really trying to push that, and I had Starflash's support as well. Trying to do the 1 HP recon pre-deployed little scout. That could be pretty cool.
I don't think there's any plans for anything special for mobile. Mostly in that, I don't think people want to write two things. The big idea with the site is to make it more API based, and so that you could more easily make a custom front end. Because right now half the site is API and half the site is PHP. So when you load the page, it writes data into the PHP page based on what you should have, which is not easy to take advantage of mobile. There are expected to be battle animations. There's a whole project on that on the Discord where they're making animations, so it's similar to the game. There'll be some slight changes. I don't think we'll leak exact HP through animations like the game does.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of battle animations. Having played the Commander Wars and the original, I feel like they really slog down the game. And they give away information you really shouldn't know. It'll give you the exact HP information, but it'll also tell you the rockets are firing from woods. It's how would I know that the rockets are firing from the woods?
True. I forgot about that. I think it's mostly for casual play, for casual players, I think they're the ones that look more forward to that, to battle animations. Because competitive players are just spending most of their time in the move planner and then just want to execute the turn,
True.
That is one thing I want to do with my custom client, was make it move planner-like, but you could just input a bunch of stuff, and then if you liked it, just replay to the server. Because sometimes you do stuff in the move plan, you're like, okay, what actually moves did I do in what order? And sometimes you can mess it up.
Yeah. Something I've wondered about for the Live League is why does it not have an overall rating like Global League does?
Well, I don't really get the whole point of the overall rating because it's kind of a weird computed thing.
Yeah, it's like a separate computation. It doesn't in fact matchmaking, but it makes it very helpful for comparing players. Because right now you go into overall and you're like, it's just talking about like win-loss, I think.
Yeah. Who has the most wins?
I mean, it affects tournament standings and whatnot.
Yeah, overall does affect like your tournament standings. But it's not having it is so much harder to compare these players now. I don't know why. I always thought it was a silly thing, but suddenly it's not here, and I'm like, I don't actually know who's like the top of live because I don't think it is advanced news.
Yeah, if you click on the modes, if you click on STD or FOG or high funds, it tells you who has the most amount of points.
Yeah, okay. And advanced news is the highest in high funds.
No. No. On the like in the gray,
this
in the gray line.
Oh yeah, it's over here.
Yeah, if you click there where it says STD, FOG, or high funds. No, not that one. The other one.
Yeah, up here. Like.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Oh, that Snoop is the number one. Wow. High funds.
Good. Advanced noob is very high up there.
Yeah, but is it really valid to say that somebody that plays, exclusively VOG and has a higher overall rating than somebody that plays exclusively standard is better than them,
I wouldn't say they're necessarily better, but I think they are higher rated because it shows that like the people you've been fighting against have been higher rated than like the other persons, I guess, if that makes sense. Because it compares, because if someone plays like me, for instance, I played all the way to be rank 1 in FOG, and then I go and I play in standard as an 800 rated standard player. I think it does make sense that I'm still risking something of like my overall rating is just massive in comparison to the other person I'm playing usually when I'm starting at 800 for standard. So like that's another risk component I'm bringing into the situation, and that I shouldn't gain that much overall rating because I'm fighting someone who's much lower, even though we have like the same standard rating. When we're talking about overall knowledge of the game, I'm gonna be like way higher.
I don't know that I exactly agree, and I definitely think Walker would delete overall if he could. So I think
really Walker wants to delete overall. Wow, that's very surprising to me. It's something that I was very confused by initially, just because it has no matchmaking component other than tournaments now. But it is surprisingly useful, and Walker's defended it in the past.
The overall?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
Huh. You don't think so?
He was definitely very much not against me dropping it in live.
In live? Oh, maybe he's changed his mind, or maybe I'm just misremembering. I find it very disconcerting not to see it. Because I mean, you even have overall rating as the name of this category, but there's no overall rating.
Yeah, that is. Oh, that's true. It says overall rating. Well, that maybe could be changed to say something else.
But the problem is, so the word overall comes from all, and the word rating comes from the fact that you had a rating selected. So if you click on like the W, it'll say overall wins, and if you click on like SCD, it'll change to SCD wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, overall losses, overall draws, standard rating.
So the name at the top is just a generated name based upon the last two things that you are.
Okay. When do you think live tournaments on the site could be a thing?
I would like to get this set up before the end of the summer, but that is a big problem in that it basically means the tournament would last longer than the summer. You know.
You mean this summer?
Yeah, so I wasn't planning to make any more changes in July. Because the Fox spectating was actually, I told D just I'd get that done by the end of July, and I got that done by June 22nd. So, so some point, probably in late August, would be, I guess, the soonest that there would be the back end work for it. Yeah, so it might not end up happening during the summer. But I think that would be a goal per se. Definitely lag is probably a bit of an issue because if you actually have a lot of people doing tournaments and then lag became a factor, that would be annoying. Although I do expect people to play their turns for the tournament not really at the same time. Like the two players play at the same time, but like all the other matches are going to happen in like different time zones and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably also a question is how do you handle, you know, somebody from Australia playing somebody from France?
Yeah. Well, the last Discord Live Cup, I think, was hosted by Voice of Akasha and DPSI or Dipsy. And I think the way they did it was all the games started at the same time, and they just had like waves, and they would flip between the games to spectate.
Oh no, that sounds like.
And they just did the whole thing in a
They
week.
probably did have.
That sounds like a nightmare to spectate.
Well, they would focus on a game.
Invite only.
I think that was invite only. Yeah.
I think any live tournaments on site would be, you know, we'll let all 1,000 people that sign up play them.
Yeah, that's the way that Take Your Turn did it, where there were live games, and it would be like, and the way I did in the past is you have a week to play your game essentially, and every week the new games open up.
Yeah.
And the games are played live, but at your discretion.
So the other big issue with the live tournament is people really want the maps to be fairly random. So, right, do you have like everybody by like 3-hour blocks, like you get everybody in this block gets a map, or is it like literally everybody gets a random map and a random tier? Then like the rounds kind of feel somewhat different. You know, you could play a bunch of like T1 matches and everybody else plays like T3.
Oh, whoa. I've never seen that done before. It's always been everyone plays the same tier, but not necessarily the same map. It would be like a ban list kind of thing for the map where you go back and forth banning and then pick the map or whatever. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that process of like, I ban a map, you ban the map, go back and forth, we try and settle on a map. I do prefer when the tournament just says you're playing on this map. Personally.
Yeah, but
Like,
I'm just saying that, you know, the survey data, if you want to look at it, you know,
I'll go for it.
people want random maps. I sent you a picture.
They want random maps in their tournaments?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or not pre-revealed. I guess I didn't use the word random per se. Well, actually, I did use it. The not pre-revealed and random are the two highest ones that over, you know.
Okay,
like
not
57%.
pre-revealed does make a lot of sense. Because they don't want people to just like memorize an opening that because that has been a thing that's happened in the past. If you watch, I think it was Mings' tournaments, the one that Starflash won just came up with a rocket rush that just completely ended the game.
yeah.
Like that kind of thing, where it's not something that if you were playing live you would ever think of or necessarily see coming, but if you had time to study the map, then you'd be like, oh, I can just do this and win the game.
Yeah, if you prep, then and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, the prep can just be so deciding.
Yeah, but I guess
Okay,
it
I
also has to do with maps, like untested maps, maybe. You know, like if you have a map like that hasn't had a lot of testing, maybe it was like a 2010 meta kind of map, and nowadays it's very different. That tends to happen a lot. Like I feel like the maps from back in the day just don't hold the standards that we have today. And so you put that in a like they'll still have the A rank or S rank tag, and then all of a sudden like people will find them in the lively, and they're like, "Whoa, what is this map?" It's like superstar. There's like 2 properties that are contestable. And it's like, yeah, it was tagged A rank like I don't know, 5 years ago, and it's like that I think would not be ideal. So maybe having maps that are actually proven, that like the second option, the red one, the highly ranked maps, but not pre-revealed before the match.
Yeah, so the red, blue, and green make up like 70%, and they just all just don't know the maps.
Mm.
I don't know if you want to show the picture.
There we go. What kind of map should
And
be in the tournament?
when it says random, it just means like any tag.
Well, I think it means the same way that Lively works, right? Where it's any random live play
You're
map.
playing it on a random standard map.
Oh, okay. So when it says when it doesn't say random, there's one map that everyone plays on that one map, right?
Well,
People
random
really
per
like not
match, so-
pre-revealed.
Yeah.
Because these are both not pre-revealed. This one's random. This is new map is and pre-revealed. This is just highly ranked and pre-revealed. Random maps seem so iffy because, like, it could be fine. It gives you something to blame if you lose, right? You're like, oh, I had to play on this map.
True. Is there a plan, Steeler, on dividing new from B rank in the options of the lively?
I mean, not really. I think other options would take priority, like letting you queue both rated and unrated at the same time, or like T0 for LQ only. I mean, it's not. But the problem with the options is there's limited space to put them up there.
True.
I mean, that could probably just be a drop down where it's like B maps, new maps, B and new. That won't be hard to do, per se.
Yeah, I thought it could be a cool idea for people to test new maps, and helps the map committee to get a sense of those maps, since B rank are like, it's a B rank, but new maps, they could be A, they could be B.
Well, I mean, I think for MC, it would probably be better if they just had like bots, right? That would just play out the cap phase, and then you can immediately see like there's no a tank chain here, or there is a tank chain for P1, and there shouldn't be, or the funding curve's like completely wrong.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Did you suggest a bot that plays the game?
Well, it could maybe just be an extension, so we aren't generating random games per se. But I mean, I think that would be useful if you just saw, somebody, 2 players that took the quote unquote optimal routes to maximize, I guess, their immediate funding.
Yeah.
For, like,
I know that's
7
something
days.
that a lot of people want, is to have basically like a chess bot. But you're suggesting it would just be a cap phase bot.
Yeah, and I think that would be fairly practical. Because the big problem with botting is, traveling salesman isn't a big deal if N is small. So when you only have, 12 or 15 or whatever properties you're going to capture, you're only going to capture half of them. And you only have, a dozen units that you're really moving. It's not expensive to compute that.
Yeah, for like the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 turns. It's like the first 3 or 4 infantry of every base, plus the first 2 tanks of each player, and that's it. Like with that's pretty much how much I do when analyzing a map. That already tells you pretty quickly if it's a B rank or a possible A rank. Like, very easy. You can see if properties are contested or not, or if there's problems of TA, or other TA problems like vehicle order and stuff like that. But especially just like property positioning and the tank positioning, like how fast can one tank get here or there and stuff like that.
There'd definitely be things that would miss. Like, on a lot of these maps, you can do city skips as P2 but not P1, or vice versa, and still get the correct tank order.
Yeah.
That annoyed me with the GC1 was I was P1, whereas P2 you can go Sasha and rush a carrier with a few base skips before they can reliably build a bomber in response. But I didn't get to do that.
Was that the Falcon Fields one?
Yeah, no, that's not Falcon. That was GC2. GC3, that was the Habits map that's not Habits.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah. I think it's Moonshot.
Yeah, I think it's Moonshot.
Oh, and
It's actually made by Walker, but he moved it over to Habits because Walker didn't know that it was going to be a round 1 map. And so he didn't want to get shot down by people again. Well, not him again, but like because of the last Glennstorm Cup, we had Falcon Fields and people were like complaining. Actually Falcon Fields was his, but it had an adaptation. He just didn't want to go through that again. He moved it over to Habits, being like, you can get shot down.
Not Moonlight, Moonshot. Oh wait, what is it then?
I just typed in moon. Yeah. Oh wait, maybe. You
have to remove the live play tag. It's definitely not a live play map.
There we go. I was like, how is there only 2 maps the same moon? 73. Maybe I should go Moonshot. This saved my search.
I sent you a link.
Okay. It saved my search settings from like weeks ago.
Yes, that's the other thing with a lot of P2 stuff is it dumps data into your session. So if you have been kind of keeping the session active, it will remember stuff. Like even like creating games, which is actually what made it a pain in the butt to do a lot of the live queue stuff. Was that I would have to like kind of dump the data in correctly, and then create a game.
Why does it have no tags?
Categories none.
What happened? Let me see what happened.
It's in the tournament with no category.
How do we have a round 1 map of a tournament with no tags? What happened?
So this
here?
is the map that you. So the idea is like you build a carrier here and walk it down and unlock the airport.
Yeah, so as player 2, the funding works out better for you. That in the first few turns when you're just spamming infantry, you build up a ton of money because all the it's high funds. And you can actually afford a carrier, I think, with like 2 base skips.
It seems awful.
Will have had their. Well, it's a lot of fun.
More
like the advantage of being a dev is I have like my own server that I use, and then I just play like games like this as like a simple practice, see what memeing things you can do for a tournament.
Oh, you don't just use the move planner?
No, because it doesn't, keep a replay for you or, update everything as well as it should.
It kind of does. I mean, you can take screenshots, basically. Yeah. It doesn't save the replay,
Yeah.
But you can't do the trick, Go. You can't move diagonally.
That's true. You can't move.
I guess you can on the move planner.
Well, I guess you can. You can move however you want to move in the move planner. I can be like T-copter over here. Haha.
You can just HQ cap day 1.
Yeah. Gray Sky Infantry goes onto lab, starts the capture, finishes the
build
capture.
Build a mega tank, move it in the same turn.
Well, there's 2 left.
Victory.
Exactly.
But you haven't won yet.
That's how us non-devs do it.
I can't remember why we ended up talking about Moonshot. I had another question and I can't remember.
Why did we start? Oh, it's because Walker moved the map, something like that. So Walker made this map and then just implanted it onto Havitz's account to shift blame.
Yeah, because he thought people were gonna complain about the map again, And so he was like, have it, you can have it. And actually, people are really happy with the map. So Habit is getting like, Habit is getting like messages being like, "This is such a great map, Habit."
That's funny. That is something. Yeah, is that something that comes up as a dev stealer? Is like getting comments from members of the community? Because I know maps get a lot of comments. Oftentimes not favorable ones.
If you check the Live League Discord channel and you're a mapper, I'd be careful.
I don't think I get any negative comments. There are some people that messaged me. I think I got more comments from the unofficial live queue stuff than anything actually official that I've done.
Yeah. Because they don't have your name on it, right? That's probably why. Because if you go into the live league, it doesn't say made by Steeler, run by Steeler, anything like that.
Well, if you watch the screen, the Google Slides, right? It's Steeler. Right?
It'll say Steeler?
Isn't it the account that's doing it?
Make it bigger.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is one of the things about being a dev is that I'm no longer listed in the changelog on any.
Really?
You can find some like bugs that I get listed on for discovering in the beginning, but once you're the one fixing them yourself, you don't get credit.
Interesting. So you get the shelter of anonymity, whatever that word is.
But no recognition.
Yeah, and then in general, right, you just blame Walker. You know, if somebody's like, I want to do this, or whatever, like, oh no, I don't think Walker wants that, you know?
Yeah. And that's why Walker ends up hiding his maps on Habit's accounts.
I do gotta say that the changelog does move really fast. Like, there's so many changes added all the time.
It's been a while since it changed. Look at that. But there was definitely some rapid fire ones going in there.
Yeah, there's like moments.
There are stuff that change that don't go into the changelog, especially if it's like administrative things. You know, we don't share stuff about that.
What was changed on the register page? I saw that one and I didn't really understand.
Yeah, that one's like half administrative. So, it uses an API now as opposed to just being PHP, and then the rest of the changes were all administrative.
It's all secret.
It's all secret.
The word saying administrative means I can't say.
I love the wording on the changelog for when they're fixing stuff. They like fixed a visual bug where Jake and Jess Pipe Runners appeared unaffected by the super movement and range boosts. And you'll be like, that wasn't just a visual bug though. I just couldn't do that. But you're saying that if you had access to like the back end and coding, then you could still issue the commands.
If you're a dev, then you could get it.
It's visual for you.
Yeah, but think about who's writing these changelogs, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I have another question. Is there any plans of the how do you call it, the padding on the sides to change, get bigger or something? Because there's something about map size and the little player detail on the side with the CO and stuff. That's like really awkward when you're trying to zoom in or out, and then it kind of moves to the bottom. I always found that could be.
Oh, you
like
mean
a
about
nice
the names? The names aren't like fixed, so like as you zoom in, they move down, and as you zoom out, they move to the right or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's talked about doing a change. I thought at one point, was it Azrael that had made like an extension or whatever, a grease monkey thing, that would do a fixed location on them.
I think so.
You're
Can't
talking about
remember.
like when you zoom in, these names now, like this one's now up here, and I scroll down, and now they're both down here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always make sure that they're both over here so they're easy to access. Yeah.
And it's like if you're, especially for streamers, if you're streaming like a live game, you're trying to keep it always in the same place,
Oh yeah.
right? That
Yeah,
I know.
that's probably something that could be buried underneath like the menu, because it is actually annoying to me for like when I'm in like a 16-player FFA and like my name's in the top left,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know the turn order.
yeah.
And I'm like, do I want to do this before I get attacked? Like, is it gonna come around? And my allies would get to act like. Yeah, knowing the order gets annoying to me sometimes. So that's probably something that I could just bury in a menu to like not shift.
So like as you zoom in, the players still stay there at the top right, for example. So yeah.
That's because they don't want to like leave this
Yeah.
this yellow. I don't know what this like border or whatever.
Yeah, it's like limited
They
to
get,
that
like
space,
squished
right?
off of it if I zoom in more. Something I did think that was a really nice fix. I don't remember if it was in the changelog. It probably was. Was that there's no longer all these little outlines over the terrain unless you're on the exact specific zoom level. I don't know if that was something you did, Steeler. If that was
Yeah, so
someone
that
else.
That was since deep. So the map is now a HTML5 canvas, and it was what that changed instead of them all being individual pictures.
I
The
see.
border between pictures is no longer there.
Okay. So this is all now just one picture rather than a bunch of little pictures on top. Well, the units are still little
Oh.
pictures on top, I imagine.
They're all GIFs.
The units are pictures, and I think buildings might be pictures too.
Oh yeah, you're right. And silos.
Because before,
I mean,
it
one
would
of
be
the
like
other
if you weren't at
big
the right
advantages
zoom
of this
level,
is
you'd have a little... If you weren't at zoom 1, it's so tiny. How is this zoom level 1?
Yeah, or 2. Yeah, you would have the black borders.
You'd have the black borders on all the terrain, yeah.
Yeah,
Not all
I think
the terrain, but most of it.
isn't it still that now the background is green, like the plains, instead of black, and that's why that kind of got solved.
No, I don't. I mean, it's one image. There shouldn't be a background anymore. Like it used to be with load in an image that had all the buildings removed from it, and then it would put the buildings on top of the image and use on top of that. Which is why when you check like some replays on some older maps, right, they would have like a black square where the buildings were.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get that issue anymore because it
Very
doesn't
good.
use the images.
Right.
But you should be able to get that issue on the, what was it, Quack Up 2, where Jay did all the span stuff. Or not the span stuff, the shadow
Oh,
shaping
the-
maps.
The different
Oh, yeah,
tile
yeah.
sets?
Yeah. And that's because of the different tile sets, because they're all just images. So they use the same system that every other map did at the time. But now, every other map uses a different system. That was also why when you used weather in the finals, it would load up the wrong map until that was fixed. Because only the images were generated for like the correct weather. Actually, you could probably load up a desert theme on them. It would probably correct now, because there's not a desert theme on those maps.
I have to find them. Let's see. We can try. They were all different shadow chase you endlessly.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably easier for me to just look at.
You can probably look up the tournament. I can
Oh,
send
that's
you
true. I
a
can
link.
just look at the tournament. I have to search my Quack Cup 2.
Quack, was it the number 2? No. Was it number 3?
That was 2. Pokemon.
Oh no, it was 2.
Oh no! I go to the default. No, if I go to... Was it not 2?
It is. It is. Yeah. It doesn't show the maps with. It shows it with a normal terrain.
Oh no. Oh, this might. Because it's the finals. Shadows finally catch you.
Good. The final should have been Pokemon, and then the final should have been the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
there's-
is it
it's
just
definitely changed
broken?
here. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Can we never see them again?
The images probably are still on the server, so I bet we could. I mean, if they aren't, Jay still would have them, I bet. Or Discord would have them.
Because I kind of still have to cover the the round 2.
Oh no!
I'm gonna have to DM you Steeler or Walker later.
If I go to this
Oh, no.
replay. Yeah, it's just. Yeah. Wow, they're vanished.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't see the black squares where the buildings are.
That's true. You don't see the black squares. That's true. That's true.
But I think Walker can fix it, because I remember asking him so I could take screenshots of some of the earlier rounds, and they were also broken. They were showing like, I don't know, like a link, and it was empty, or it was something weird, or I think they were like this as well. And I don't know what button he pressed, and then it loaded the thing. I could take a screenshot.
Walker has some like high level magic.
Yeah, he really does.
But Walker's one of the few people with actual server access.
Yeah.
Oh, server access?
Like, even though I can make changes, I can't actually put them on the server.
Oh, so there's like levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the only ones with server access are Walker, Matsu, and a Mariner. And probably the past Walkers, like Glenstorm and other ones.
The past walkers.
I don't even know when Walker became the Walker. Like what year? But it's probably been a while.
I don't need
I don't
either,
know
because the
either.
problem is that the changelog starts in 2017. And then Walker Bow's first game is in 2009. Whether or not that's his first account, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
I mean,
try and get
maybe-
Walker on one of these podcasts and talk about history stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
then we'll find out.
That and asking for the burnt forest.
I believe he's left the ball in your court, actually, on that one, hasn't he?
Oh, has he? Okay.
It's up to me to get it done. Well, to come up with a convincing case.
You know what we should do? We should do like a little presentation. It's like, this is the design.
my
This
PowerPoint.
is what it does. You know? Look how nice maps would look like if they had it. Make an offer that he can't refuse.
I believe it is. You have to come up with a process first, right? And then
I do.
you
I have to
get
come up
your map
with,
through the process.
Process
like
for
criteria.
what changes should ever be made, kind of like what should be allowed. So something I've wondered for quite a long time is who's in charge of the language on like the CO info tab. There's I get a lot of messages about people being confused about what powers can be. What powers are like affected by what?
You should really make a list of that and send to me pretty shortly, because Pudley was complaining about it on Discord, and I actually put together a change to change a bunch of them. But I don't know if they'll address the ones that you don't like.
Most of the ones are like Max says direct units get plus 20% attack, and then everyone's like, does that mean does infantry get 20% attack? Because if they like look down at Sammy, It says foot soldiers gain plus 30% attack and capture points for it. And it says other direct units lose minus 10% attack, which implies that infantry are direct units.
So max, what I want to change it to say is direct units, parentheses, except foot soldiers gain whatever. And then, use that for the 3 descriptions.
Yeah, because I like the Jake one. I don't know if this was before, if it got changed, because it says units, even air units, gain plus 10% attack on planes. I do like that change. I mean, I think max, you could just say direct vehicles, probably. But I don't know if vehicles are ever mentioned, or if they're always like direct units.
I don't know if transports count as direct units.
No, vehicles are mentioned. Jess says vehicles. That's interesting. Jess says
vehicles.
Look,
the Jake one, the scope of Jake could say land vehicles instead of just vehicles. Gain plus 2.
Well,
I guess.
And vehicles gain plus 2. You're right, because air units are vehicles, yeah. And air and water vehicles.
In our lingo, vehicles include copters and planes, right, and stuff.
Yeah, and boats. It's anything that can transport a person. So if a person's in it,
it's a vehicle.
So Sasha, I was also going to change to be reduces enemy power bars by 10 times funds divided by 5,000% of their maximum bar. Because a lot of people definitely get tripped up of like, if I have 6,000 funds, is it just 10%?
Yeah. I saw that one come up quite a bit recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, there's something about the calculation of Sasha's power that got me confused, I remember a lot before. To kind of explain... Because it's funny because it works even better against COs that have a longer power bar than those that have a shorter one. Because it's percentage-wise and not an amount. That's crazy.
That's true. Jess does say vehicles. I would like if it said land vehicles, but I guess vehicles in this lingo does just mean land vehicles.
Yeah. I think that's pretty consistent amongst the rest of them.
But that's not what the
Bill
word
Scott
means.
mentioned HQs as well.
Oh, Sonya would need like a whole... like a whole lot of clarifying text on her super.
Just put question marks in Sonja. It goes in theme and that's it. Just put a link to
like
an article.
everyone thinks that counterbreak will get the plus 50% damage, but of course it doesn't because you're actually first striking, you're not counterattacking.
Yeah.
And that also means that in the Sonya mirror, if you issue the attack command, you are the one counterattacking against the opposing Sonya super, so you'll get the plus 50% bonus to your attack.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So, like, if you're a Sonya player and the opposing Sonya player uses counterbreak and it's your turn,
Yeah.
you say, my tank attacks their tank. What happens is their tank first strikes your tank, and then your tank counterattacks them. So you get the plus 50% firepower.
Oh, okay.
Which is really
So
nice.
then-
So if you
That's
say
really
your
annoying with
copter
housing
attacks their
troopers.
tank, it's like their tank attacks your copter, and you can just one-shot them sometimes.
So it's
like
really
the
bad
recon can one-shot
to be
their
the
infantry.
first. Right. So it's really bad to be the first one to use the super, pretty much, in a Sonja. You're both
Sometimes.
holding it.
It's situational, because like your anti-air doesn't care.
But that's pretty insane. Yeah, your copters will have 150 attack against anything
on the ground, yeah.
except, of course, other copters.
They hit you first, and then you strike them, counter-strike.
Yeah.
You issue the
Wow.
attack to counterattack. It's very weird. Hidden text. But it can absolutely destroy you if you don't know. If
Right.
you hit your super and your opponent knows about how it works, you can suddenly get absolutely wiped out because your wall won't hold and all that stuff.
I wonder if it works like that in the cards as well.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never checked.
Oh yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, I think it's just for an ease of implementation that they just literally swap the attacker and the defender.
Yeah.
Another petition of getting Sonja to have no luck.
And like the Sturm and the Von Bolt missiles have the same wording of the missile targets the opponent's greatest accumulation of unit value, but that's not exactly true. Like they do have different criteria that they work on. Where
Yeah.
I just forgot which one's which, but one of them cares about like the health value as well for how much value it is, and the other one, I think Von Bolt doesn't. Yeah, Von Bolt doesn't care about the current value of the unit, like health wise. Like a 10 health unit is the same. Yeah. It cares about how much damage it deals, not how valuable the unit is. If
Oh,
that
They're
makes
is it the
both
same for both?
your health.
So like a Von Bolt Super treats a 4 health battleship the same as a 10 health battleship, except for tie breaks. Because it does the same amount of damage to it. But like a 3 health and lower battleship will be valued less because it doesn't get to do its full damage to it.
Right.
Or a Sturm Super does care. Or Sturm Super and normal power do care. So if you have a 5 health battleship and a 10 health battleship, it's going to favor the 10 health battleship
Oh.
because the unit's value is higher because it's undamaged.
But I think Constant's right. You have to just link out for a wiki because there's way too much text to explain the fine details on missiles.
Yeah. I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would word it in here. To just have a link to the wiki. Just have a little link. I guess you could do that. Be like
That could
link
actually
to
be
the-
cool. Yeah, like a little click link
the
to
nuances,
like more
nuances
info.
here. Click.
Yeah, even at the bottom, or yeah, maybe on every CO to have a link to the wiki.
Oh, and here
That'd
we
be
should
cool.
probably have, and also their powers cost more every time. This is giving them. It's true that they all get 10% attack and defense, but they also end up costing more each time you use a power.
Yeah, that's on the wiki though, right? And I remember seeing that.
I
when
imagine that's on the wiki. I haven't been to the wiki in a while. The wiki is not always accurate. Because people will be like, "That's not what the wiki says." I'm like, well, that's how it works.
I'm one of the few people
think
that
there
like,
is
read
some-
the whole wiki when I started.
You read the whole wiki?
Pretty much, yeah. I was like,
Is the AWBW one or the actual war stuff?
this one, the one that Go is looking at, there was one that it will like talk about the meta, talked about the unit triangles and like different changes from the original games. I was like, whoa. And then I started playing.
I don't know if it actually tells you about how it works. It's saying it doesn't hit its own units.
Also, Von Bolt's super has to damage. Stun its own units. That's card accurate.
Yeah, in card accurately it has friendly fire, but yeah, not in advanced warfare. Yeah, it doesn't mention
Yeah.
how it does its targeting.
Gotta nerf Von Bolt.
Interesting.
What are the plans on those CO changes to like the people saying about Kindle scope, Von Bolt scope?
They've been saying that forever. But I don't know if any changes are coming. Steelite, do you have any?
Anybody ever talked about changing? I think Kindle, I will probably get around to doing it at some point, just because King Rex has made like a million graphics for all the live stuff. But I think Walker said you still have to like wait a year to do that change, right? Because every time somebody brings it up, you add a week. So you got a lot of weeks.
Well, I'm sorry, King Rex. Then
That's funny.
I honestly don't mind Kindle as she is right now. She's already pretty powerful. So honestly,
Well, wouldn't that be
At
the
least in
reason to
standard,
buffer
no?
more so that she's the bottom T2?
what's that?
Would that be a reason to buffer then? Because then she'll be the bottom of T2.
Oh, maybe that's just enough.
I mean, I don't know. She's such a. I feel like there's such a big breakpoint between tier 3 and tier 2.
Do you think they're going to ever make the Rachel infantry missile card accurate?
Ooh.
I still don't actually understand what that would take.
So, right now, the infantry missile like only cares about infantry and mech, but I believe in the cartridge, the infantry missile is another HP missile, but it just like very much favors infantry and mechs. I think it's like triple cost favoring infantries and mechs. So the difference is if there's no infantry, like in the cartridge, it will just fire as an HP missile. Or if there's like a huge cluster without infantry versus one infantry, it will fire on the cluster rather than the infantry.
Oh, wow.
Right now what happens is if there's no infantry, it just fires in the top left corner.
Yeah, but the issue kind of comes down to is I need like a specific on like, you know, is it actually 3x or is it like, you know,
They
5x
it's
or-
actually on the Discord. Someone put the code or something
Let's get that Rachel buff. Let's go.
for how it works. I think it was Master of Math who put it out there. I tested the Rachel Super in Reboot Camp on the stream. Be like, how is this different? Cartel has it. Ah, there you go. There you go.
Well, I've not seen the specifics, so
Yeah, no worries. It's like a buff, a slight buff to Rachel, potentially.
I mean, yeah, you would have to wipe out all the infantry on the board. No? A bit difficult, but
It happens. It happens. Oh my gosh, we're over time.
Well, but
Okay.
just-
Well, any closing thoughts, Steeler?
I guess
what are things that you would like kind of changes on the site?
There you go.
of things that are unlikely to happen or things that are likely to happen.
Both. Go crazy.
I think of things that will probably never happen is some way to play different versions of the game. Especially if you could have like advanced wars like all stars and it's like war group plus advanced wars plus like whatever.
Oh,
Have
nice.
like a big mosh pit stuff.
So you're saying you could play
You
like,
could also choose, you know, just advanced one for advanced one two.
yeah. So it'd be like split between versions.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool if you could stuff like that. And I think you know the way that Lively handles things, where you get that box where it shows you like tier 0, like you just throw things in that says, you know, AWBW rule set or whatever, or you know, all stars rule set. Like I don't think it'd be too hard to communicate some stuff like that.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that one's more realistic. The tier 0 life queue.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you could definitely make that happen.
Well, I think the map changes, like 3 HP recon, is definitely something that could happen.
Ooh, yeah.
That's true.
I think
Mine is, of course,
it's, you know, card accurate.
And like ammo and fuel as well.
true. That would
Like
be
preset. That
I know
could be
people were
really
talking
interesting
about
for
that
map design.
for like black boats on HQs. You'd be like a black boat on your HQ, but it has 7 fuel or something. It's like just there to
Ooh.
stop rushes,
True.
and it sinks.
True.
It doesn't
True.
work as a magnet.
Yeah.
Or imagine starting with a pre-deployed bomber with no ammo. So you have to make an APC to give it ammo. That's a good one. We should work on that.
I guess you could do an immigration map, right? The T-copter has like 14 fuel, so you get to drop off, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you build an APC to refuel your black boat by day 7, then I think that's good on you. You deserve your black boat.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I think it'd probably also be cool if we had different tiles instead of ghosting.
Oh,
Different tiles instead of ghosting.
Yeah, so you have like a supply depot instead of like a ghosted base, like a dry dock instead of a
Oh
ghosted port.
yeah.
yeah. Like to repair.
The ghosted stuff is something that rarely comes up. So many people don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
In High Funds Fog, that league, when there was a league for that league had ghosted maps.
Oh wow.
It had some ghosted harbors. I think a ghosted airport.
Oh, that's another good one. Having pipe seams with different amounts of HP. That'd be cool.
True.
Imagine like I don't know.
Oh, we used that.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. The bug where you have a pre-deployed unit on the pipe seam and then you kill it and it drops it down to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what would be
Delete the
much
unit.
cooler is if the pipe seam was on top of different terrain. So you could have like a seawall versus.
Yes.
You could
Oh,
always
true.
point-
That'd be great.
Yes. 100%. That'd be great. It can be a sea gate or something. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna end the podcast as we're 17 minutes past.
Oh no.
Nothing wrong with that. But thank you so much for coming, Steeler. Thank you, Humida, my co-host. It's been
Thank you.
wonderful. I hope everyone enjoyed. And we might have Steeler back in the future. Who knows? With more dev questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Totally
coming.
anytime.
Anytime. Alrighty. Oh,
Okay.
I gotta give everyone their apple. Ah! Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
It's Go 7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go 7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins.